Hey YouTube, how are you? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the Polyglot Paradise. Today we're tackling a very important question, very frequently asked question. And we're here in the park. I'm just strolling around. It's almost sunset and I really wanted to address the question, can you learn a language for free? This is a question I get a lot by so many people, not only in this channel, but people in my community as well. Especially students who don't really have a job, because when we talk about learning languages, what do you think of? You think of textbooks, you think of expensive courses in a university, you think of language schools and tuition and all of that stuff. And I really wanted to make this video to say, you know what? It might be possible to learn a language without spending so much. I really do think so. As someone who learned so many different languages, I did not spend that much money on my language journey, especially now, right? With the internet and the wealth of knowledge that you can gain online, things have really changed. So back to the question. Oh, I like this kind of sun. Okay. I like this glow with this. I like this lighting. Okay, I'm gonna stay here. I should position it like that. Okay, so just to address the question, my answer would be yes, no, maybe so. It really depends on a lot of things, right? It depends on what language you're learning. It depends on your strategy. It depends on your method of learning, how serious you are. If you are learning Spanish, if you're learning Italian, if you're learning French, English, Portuguese, any of those languages that are the most frequently learned languages, right? I would say, yeah, you could totally learn those online. There's so much information on there, on the internet, on YouTube especially, but really, if you do some digging on Google, you can definitely learn those things. And I can prove it, definitely. For me, when I first learned Spanish, I took a first year Spanish course at the university I went to, and it cost $1,400, but with the textbook, it cost around $1,700. The textbook was insanely expensive. And I had to buy CDs and I had to buy all this random. Although it was a good experience to, have an interesting teacher who taught us a little bit of cultural stuff, class was pretty good. However, now that I look back at it many years later, I flipped through that textbook and I was like, wow. I could have learned all this stuff online. I did not need to take a course, honestly. All of that stuff in that textbook, all of the stuff in that $1,700 course, every grammar point that I learned, every piece of vocabulary, all the dialogues that I learned in that book, in that course, every single thing there was online. There was free content online that I could have just turned to. Instead, I spent $1,700 in class. I hope you get what I'm trying to say, right? It's just kind of annoying because I could have saved so much money. My point of this is that if you want to learn a language online, you can be resourceful and you have this goal in your mind. A lot of it has to do with mindset and mentality. If you have the right mindset and this open mind, you have this passion for learning, you will learn. You will definitely, with patience. It's a different era, right? When I had an interest in languages back in 2009, I was still kind of a kid. And I would beg my mom, can you please sign me up for these $4,000, $5,000 courses in downtown, core of my city, and can you drive me downtown and all this stuff. My mom wouldn't let me because we didn't have the right finances at that time to do something like that. And I remember how sad I was. I remember I really cried because I cried internally because I've always wanted to do that. And now in 2021, that barrier has just broken. The barrier of learning, the barrier of access to learning a language is literally breaking, and you can definitely learn. If you're not in the right position financially to take a university course, you don't need to. You can learn a lot of this stuff online. Just like what I've been saying. There's a wealth of knowledge out there, and for me, the purpose of this channel that I started only I started back in November 2020. My vision for this channel was like to become a resource hub for language learners, and I'm still trying to develop it in the best way that I can. But I do have 2 jobs, so I'm a little tight on the schedule, but that's my vision for this channel. So if you agree with this vision, this could be definitely a fountain of language learning resources. Please subscribe, and we are going to try to make that happen. All right. Another tip I wanted to share is the use of your public library. The pre-COVID, when we actually went to libraries, the central library in my city, I remember I would see like a shelf full of like resources of, language stuff. I would see dictionaries, I would see like language material, like shelves full of them. And I was thinking, wow, in this whole entire city, all of the language resources were basically in this main library, and no one is taking them out. I found that a little weird. It just goes to show that people are not being resourceful, or people are just not learning languages. But I have literally most of my language learning material. I would say 65-70% of my language learning material has started and has been fundamentally built by taking stuff out from the library. So the materials in the library, whether that is beginner material or very quick readers, or just like I just take all of the stuff like from the library, and that's been a really, really good thing for me because I don't have to, you don't have to pay for that. It's free as long as you return it on time. For me, I'm another story because I have I tend to get overdue fees because I get so into it. But that's also an option too for people who do have access to a public library. People are just not taking stuff out. People are not learning languages in that way, right? So it's a really good opportunity for you. Hey, folks, at the end of the day, it's really a balance between time and money. I found that when I started getting a job and I started being able to pay for certain programs that were available online, that were highly recommended by other learners, I started to accelerate, really accelerate in the time it takes me to learn, right? Because I find when you have the right material and the right kind of resources there for you, it really picks up the pace. And it's true that if you do spend money, you spend less time searching stuff up. You spend less time because, someone has put stuff together, for you. A lot of language courses I've taken online, some are good, some are bad, but like the really good ones, I've had to pay money for them. A lot of the good ones I've taken before, I spent pretty good money on it. But I can say at the end of the day, these courses have saved me hours and hours because someone has taken their time to put stuff together in a very good way. And you really save time once you buy a comprehensive program, that has things laid out for you. Not everything, but things in a curriculum, a syllabus, if you say, laid out for you. And especially if the person teaching the course is an active teacher of languages, right? So, but I've done this for many languages, especially I don't want to say obscure, especially the languages that don't have as many resources available, or the languages that don't, are not like
French, Spanish, Portuguese,
right? They don't have things always available on the internet. I didn't mind really when I was working and I had some funds to pay for, language learning material. Oh my goodness. When I was younger, I was so obsessed with learning languages that basically so much of my income was spent on like a bunch of subscriptions online and a bunch of like language learning stuff. And some people, their addiction is shopping, but the shopping I do is language learning resources. Anyways, so that's that. And it's a balance between time and money. If you're not willing to spend the money on learning a language, right? You need to spend your own time, right? You need to spend your own time doing a full scavenger hunt on the internet for certain things, while if you do spend money, you save time. So that's the biggest thing for me. If you're able to, afford certain language courses, I really recommend that. Regardless whether you choose to spend money or not, if you don't put effort or lack consistency, you won't get far. Sometimes people fail not because of their courses they're taking or the resources that they have or the teacher that they have, but they don't learn because of the habits, because of bad habits and bad mindset. So if you want to learn more about this, please check out my video, Why People Fail at Learning a New Language, which I give you 5 reasons why people fail to do so. Other than that, talk to you guys later.